Hello everyone and welcome to this Star Wars lore video, talking about the Separatist flagship, the Invisible Hand. This video will have information taken from both the Legends and canon timeline. I will specify and have tags on screen when I mention something that's specific to only one timeline. Getting started, the Invisible Hand was a Providence-class dreadnought, designed by the Freedak Volunteers Engineering Corps, and built at the planet Pament for the Separatist Alliance. The ship was 1,088 meters long, making it the smaller of the two Providence sizes manufactured. In canon, it's stated that the Invisible Hand was the first Providence dreadnought manufactured. The Invisible Hand was originally part of the Trade Federation private fleet and owned by Viceroy Nuke Gunray. When the Trade Federation aligned itself with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, aka the Separatist Alliance, their fleet of starships was absorbed into the larger Confederate Navy. In the canon timeline, ownership of the Invisible Hand was a heated topic of discussion amongst the Executive Separatist Council. After the outbreak of the Clone Wars, General Grievous demanded that Viceroy Gunray relinquish ownership of the Invisible Hand so that he could claim it as his new command ship. At first Gunray refused, but at the behest of Darth Sidious he finally handed the vessel over, with the concession that Lutros Dauphine would be appointed as captain and a Nemoidium bridge crew would be assigned to the ship. For the remainder of the war, the Invisible Hand would serve as General Grievous's personal command ship and the flagship for the Separatist Navy. The ship was heavily modified, with additional weapons, armor, and an extended hangar bay that allowed it to serve as an invasion craft. After being upgraded, the ship could carry 240 starfighters, 440 ground vehicles, and over 1.5 million deactivated battle droids. The heavily modified vessel could conduct orbital bombardments by itself and take continuous broadside engagement for long periods of time. In canon, Grievous could use the comlinks integrated into his cybernetic body to monitor and control many of the ship's systems. From the bridge of the Invisible Hand, General Grievous oversaw many of the battles fought during the Clone Wars, including Operation Dirge's Lance, a major Separatist offensive launched along the Corellian trade spine in the Legends timeline. Over the course of this operation, we see that the ship was capable of deploying bioweapons, including the brain rot plague used in the Weimel sector of the Core Worlds. In Legends, the Invisible Hand became so feared by the Republic that agents made an attempt to track the vessel. In response, General Grievous would swap out the Invisible Hand with two nearly identical ships, the Lucid Voice and the Colicoid Swarm, to confuse the Republic. Later in the war, Separatist head of state Count Dooku had the communication and sensor pod atop the ship's large fin refitted into a personal sanctum called the Wizard's Tower. From here he would broadcast propaganda across the HoloNet and Separatist shadow feed. In the final days of the Clone Wars, from the bridge of the Invisible Hand, General Grievous led an invasion fleet of over 1,000 ships to Coruscant. Taking the Republic by surprise, the Separatists were able to destroy a large portion of the home fleet over Coruscant within minutes, and give Grievous ample cover for his personal mission to abduct the Supreme Chancellor and bring him back to the ship. Grievous's victory in capturing the Chancellor and obliterating the Republic fleet was short-lived. Thousands of Star Destroyers from the Open Circle fleet arrived under the command of Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi, trapping the Separatist fleet in Coruscant's upper atmosphere. Many of the Separatist ships began forming a defensive perimeter around the Invisible Hand in an attempt to protect it from further damage. Despite these efforts, the ship's shields and armor began to fail after a full day of being shot at nonstop. Jedi Knights Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker used this opening to try and rescue Chancellor Palpatine. The two Jedi approached in Edda II Actis-class interceptors and destroyed the hangar's atmospheric shield generator, allowing them to board the Invisible Hand's hangar bay. During the Jedi's rescue mission, not all Republic starships were aware that the Chancellor and Jedi were on board the Invisible Hand, and continued firing on the ship trying to destroy it. Late in the Battle of Coruscant, the Invisible Hand encountered the Republic's Star Destroyer Guarlara, and after a brief broadside engagement, the Guarlara was able to critically damage the Invisible Hand's gun deck, making the ship plummet down towards Coruscant. By firing the emergency booster engines, the ship was able to level out and maintain orbit for just a bit longer. Grievous ultimately abandoned the Invisible Hand, purposefully smashing the main viewport, sucking most of the crew and himself into space to escape the Jedi. Using his grappling hook, the General was able to re-enter the ship and board an escape pod, and launched all remaining pods to leave the Jedi and Chancellor stranded on the ship. A few of the ship's crew were able to get to the pods before Grievous launched them all, including Captain Lucio Stofine, who died when a stray laser blast hit his escape pod. With no other way off the ship, Anakin told Obi-Wan and the Chancellor to strap in as he tried to land the Invisible Hand on Coruscant. Upon re-entry, the ship split in half, unable to take the atmospheric pressure after the damage it suffered. Despite splitting in two, Anakin was still able to land what was left on a runway, in an abandoned industrial district. The Jedi, Chancellor, and R2-D2 survived, but the Invisible Hand was destroyed, and the Battle of Coruscant ended, with a Republic victory. In the Legends timeline, a bar was opened at some point later in the lower levels of Coruscant, called the Invisible Hand Cantina. It was decorated with Separatist memorabilia, including alloy fragments claimed to have been taken off the wreckage of the old Separatist flagship. And that concludes my video about the Invisible Hand. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, thank you for watching.